G'day guys. While there are a few different ways to browse the web on your R36S, there's none that let you run a modern web browser directly from the emulation station front end. That was until Reddit user TheseFortune8208 released their new project, Fire4ArkOS, which despite the name also works on dArkOS-RE. Once installed, it actually adds a new system entry to the main emulation station front end. So you can select it just like you would any other system, like Game Boy or Super Nintendo. It does appear in here. It's worth mentioning that you do need to have internet access on your R36S to install everything. But since you do usually need internet access to browse the web, that's not too big of a deal. As usual, we'll be trying it on the latest version of dArkOS-RE, which at the time of filming is version 03082026. But it has also been reported working in ArkOS and ArkOS for clones. Now there have been a few people mentioning that this broke their ArkOS and dArkOS install, needing them to wipe their SD card and reinstall their OS completely. Although I haven't personally had any issues with it, even on multiple installs. Just keep this in mind if you were wanting to try this yourself. Before we take a look at this new Fire4ArkOS project, we'll quickly move over to our Windows 11 PC to download and copy everything over. Let's get into it. We're over on our Windows 11 PC now, and to get started we've just opened up Google Chrome and gone to the original Reddit post where this was officially announced. If we scroll down a little bit, it does have a direct GitHub link, but they also tell you a little bit about the project, why they built it, how they built it, as well as performance and a few notes. We'll scroll back up and go to the GitHub link, and as always I will link both the original Reddit post and the GitHub link directly down in the description below. Now over on this GitHub page, if we scroll down a little bit, it tells us how to install it and the basic controls, both of which we will cover in this video. If we scroll all the way back to the top, on the right hand side, we'll click on releases and we'll download the latest version, which at the time of filming is version 1.5.35. So it has already had a few different updates, which is pretty cool. And we just want to download Fire4ArkOS zip file. It is only 1 meg and we just need to left click on it once to download. Once it's finished downloading, we can close off Google Chrome and open up our downloads folder. Inside, we should have the Fire4ArkOS zip file. We just want to extract it, so right click on it. You can click extract all, but I always like to use 7-zip, so we'll go show more options, 7-zip, and extract to. With that extracted, we'll open up the folder, and we want to copy the Fire4ArkOS folder inside. So this entire folder here. Just select it and press Ctrl-C. Next, we'll insert the SD card from our R36S into our PC. We'll navigate to our EasyROMs partition, we'll go down to the Tools folder, and we'll paste the Fire4ArkOS folder in here, Ctrl-V. That's pretty much everything we need to do on our Windows PC. We can safely eject our SD card and move back over to our R36S. We're back on our R36S now, and before we install anything, we do need to get our device online. As always, I'll just be using my cheap USB wireless adapter. We'll plug it into the OTG port, we'll press start, go down to options, and Wi-Fi. I'll connect to my home network. Perfect, and now we're connected, we'll quit out of the wireless front end. And before I actually install anything, I do just want to take a quick benchmark to see if anything slows down once we install the new Fire4ArkOS. I always like to use Mega Man 2 to benchmark, so I'll just load up Mega Man 2. I will enable the on-screen FPS counter, so press function, go back, go down to settings, user interface, on-screen notifications, visibility, and display frame rate. We'll close the RetroArch menu and we'll enable fast forward. We'll go into Bubbleman stage, and it seems to be idling at around 192 frames a second. So we'll use that as our rough benchmark. We'll quit out, and I also just want to quickly check our free space before installing it to see how much space everything takes up. To do that, we can just press start, go down to options, and go down to system info. And if we scroll down on this page, on our Linux partition, which is partition 2, we have used around 4.2 gig. And on our EasyROMs partition, which is the third partition, we've used around 192 meg. We will make a note of that for later. And now we can finally install Fire4ArkOS. So we'll go all the way back to the very top, to Tools, open up the Fire4ArkOS folder, and go down to install Fire4ArkOS. There's a few options here. We can do a full install, which installs the browser, creates a new emulation station option, and adds a custom theme for that option. Or we can do browser only without adding the custom theme. I will do a full install, so we'll highlight that and press A. And now we just have to be patient. Don't press anything. I have noticed it takes around 5 minutes to download and install everything, depending on the speed of your internet. We'll come back once it's finished installing. Once it finishes installing, it will give you a 10-second countdown, hopefully saying that it's finished successfully. And then it should take you straight back to the Tools menu. Now if we go back to the main emulation station front end, and we scroll through, nothing will show up just yet. We do need to restart emulation station, or the entire device, for the new Firefox system entry to actually appear. So to do that, we can just press start, go down to quit, and simply restart emulation station. It only takes a few seconds. There we go. Now if we scroll through the system menus, there's a new one called Fire for ArkOS. As you can see, it does use its own theme, which does not match dArkOS-RE's stock theme. At least not in the current stable build of dArkOS-RE. So this is the stock theme, and if we go down, there's the completely different theme. If we press start, go down to UI settings, and theme, we can change it back to NES box, which is the default theme in ArkOS and ArkOS for clones. And if we go back to the main menu, it should update. So now it says Kodi, RetroArch, Fire for ArkOS. You can see the new theme that Fire for ArkOS uses does match NES box a lot closer than dArkOS-RE's stock theme. It's still not quite the same. You can see we've got a sort of starry background at the very top, and then it goes pure black, but it is a bit closer. Before we open the new browser, I do just want to take a second benchmark in Mega Man 2 to see if anything slowed down. So once again, I will enable the on-screen FPS counter, and then we'll go back into Bubble Man stage. And yep, we are still averaging around 192 frames a second with fast forward enabled. Absolutely no difference whatsoever. That is good to know. We'll quit out of this, and we'll quickly check how much space has been used after installing Fire for ArkOS. So press start, go to options, and system info, scroll down a little bit, and previously we were using around 4.2 gig on our Linux partition, which is now 4.9 gig. That's around 700 meg extra used. And on EasyROMs, we were around 192 meg, but now we are at 197. A negligible difference there with only 5 meg, but quite a big difference on the Linux partition at 700 meg. We do still have plenty of free space though, so not too big of a deal for me personally. We'll close out of this and run Firefox. So again, it does have its own system entry here. If we select the main Fire for ArkOS entry, inside we should have a single entry called Fire for ArkOS browser. We'll open that up. It's loading now. It does have a 5-second countdown before it starts, but I have noticed that the first time you load it, it does actually take around 10 seconds. So just be patient and don't press anything. And here it is, a full Firefox web browser. It does automatically go to Google the first time you open it, which I do like. We'll quickly go through the basic controls. So the left joystick moves the mouse cursor around. It is a little bit laggy because it is still loading, but it should settle down soon. There we go, it's a lot smoother now. So the left joystick moves the mouse cursor around. Pressing A or L3, which is the left joystick in, acts as a left click. Pressing R3, which is the right joystick in, acts as a right click. The right joystick itself does seem to be mapped to the arrow keys, so up, down, left, and right, the same as the D-pad. I would have preferred if the right joystick moved the mouse cursor a little bit slower for more precision movements. So that's a little bit fast there. It would have been nice if the right one moved a little bit slower. The B button goes back, X reloads the page, Y brings up the virtual keyboard or enters a URL. So if we press Y here, you can see it brings up a virtual keyboard, and it does say URL input. So if we typed in bing.com, for example, and press start, it did end up searching for it as a search query instead of actually navigating to that site, but it did automatically enter https:// in the query. So if you do press Y to enter a URL, make sure you have the address bar selected. So click up here first, and then press Y. You can press B to close it. Pressing L1 brings up the regular text input. So pretty much the same as Y, except it doesn't automatically append https:// to the start of it. You're most likely going to be using this text input mode the most. I will also mention I do really like this custom on-screen keyboard. However, there is a bit of an annoying quirk with it. So as you can see, you can press left, right, up and down on the D-pad to navigate around it. Nice and easy, pretty straightforward. If we go to space and we try to press right, you would expect it to go to backspace, which it does. But if we press left from here, it jumps up to N. So if I go back down to backspace and press left, yep, straight to N. If I go back down to space and I press left instead, it goes to mode OK. But if I press right here, it goes up to X. It's not the end of the world. I just thought it was worth mentioning. You can press R1 to toggle the UI menu at the very bottom. That does come in handy if you want a little bit more screen real estate. you can press L2 and R2 to zoom in and out of the page. So 90%, 80%, 67%, and I can go the other direction. This also comes in handy for reading stuff on this pretty low-res screen. I will reset it back to 100% though, standard. And finally, you can press Start and Select to quit out, just like you would any other system. So the built-in navigation isn't too bad, but I do want to see if a USB mouse and keyboard works with this. I will have to unplug my wireless adapter and swap it out with my USB-C hub. So we'll do that now. So I've plugged my wireless adapter into my USB-C hub, but I'm not sure if my network has automatically reconnected. We'll try go to bing.com just to see if it works. And it looks like my network didn't come back up. I'll quit out, and I will reboot my R36S. Okay, we've finished rebooting. I do have my USB wireless adapter, my USB keyboard, and my USB mouse all connected and working, at least in dArkOS. Let's see if it works in here. We'll start with the USB mouse. The USB mouse does not seem to work. Interesting. I do have the light on, but nothing. Does the left joystick still work? It does, but not the USB mouse. What about the USB keyboard? I'll go to the nav bar. Actually, I will close off these other two tabs first, just to make it a little bit faster. There we go. I'll go to the nav bar. Does my USB keyboard work? Interestingly, when I started typing on my keyboard, nothing happened for the first few seconds, but then this on-screen keyboard popped up automatically, and my USB keyboard does seem to work. So I have typed in a URL using my USB keyboard. However, when I hit enter, it actually enters the currently selected character on the on-screen keyboard. The arrow keys also move that around. I'm guessing they're using a non-standard method for the virtual mouse and the on-screen keyboard. We'll go down to go. I'll also disable the nav bar at the bottom, so pressing R2, and I will accept cookies. There we go. So basic web browsing works. It's actually quite responsive as well. Almost no lag on simple pages. Having said that, there was a bit of a lag spike just then. Still very usable though. What about YouTube playback? We'll give that a go. We'll go YouTube. It's a bit slow to load, but that's okay. YouTube is a pretty heavy page to load, so that's why it's taking so long. But let's try search for something. We're still trying to bring up the search box. Very slow. It's been about 1 minute now. We still haven't been able to bring up the search box, so I'm guessing the page is still loading. It might be loading now. It does say search. There we go. It did take about 1.5 minutes. See if I can go back to the search box. No, I've lost it. Can we bring it back up? There we go. Bring up the on-screen keyboard, L1, and I'll search for my channel. Once we've entered the text, we can just press enter to both enter it and hit enter on the keyboard. It's a bit of a 2-in-1. I did mistype it slightly, which is why SJSJ tech popped up. But there's one of my videos. Can we play it? I'm not expecting amazing performance on this low-end RK3326 chipset, but it would be nice if it plays even in 320p. Looks like it's trying to load. I will turn the sound up. I do have it off. It's playing the ad okay. There is sound. So the first ad's sort of frozen. I guess it's loading the second ad. Still trying to load the next ad. Guess we just have to be patient. It's been about 1 minute and it's still trying to load. I haven't touched anything. It's been almost 5 minutes now and still nothing. It does seem to be making very slow progress though. We might give up on YouTube since it has been 5 minutes and it still hasn't loaded. And I don't think anybody's going to wait more than 5 minutes to try and watch a simple video. I would class that as a fail, but I guess if you were really patient, you might be able to play one. I'll try and open a new tab and then close the current one if I can. It won't let me do anything, unfortunately. I think I will start and select out and try and reopen it. There we go, we'll go back into it. It does count up to 5 seconds before it opens. We'll hide the UI at the bottom and it's got to make sure it's not trying to load YouTube again. I'll close off that tab and we're back to Google. Awesome. I do want to see if Open RuneScape Classic actually works on this. That could be a good use case for it. So I'll bring up the on-screen keyboard and just go to rsc.vet, V-E-T. Press enter. This page loaded pretty quickly. We'll go play now. We want to use the web client. It's quite fast so far. We'll go preservation. It's loading. That actually didn't take too long to load. Maybe around 5 or 10 seconds. We'll go existing user and username. Bring up the on-screen keyboard. I have noticed when entering text on here, you do have to go backspace a whole bunch. If we don't, and I type in, say, the letter H, and then press B, you can see it did enter A. That does happen all the time. So we'll bring up the on-screen keyboard, go backspace a whole bunch, even though there's nothing there, press backspace, and then you can enter your username or password. Okay, I've entered my username and password, and I press start. It's logging in. Hey, we're in. That's really cool. Is it playable though? The virtual mouse does take a little bit to get used to, but it looks like it is working. It's quite smooth as well. I am still on Tutorial Island, so we finished talking to that guy. We'll go out the door if we can. Now we do have camera set to auto. So if we go to the settings, you can see camera and angle is auto. That's because normally you would use the arrow keys, or I believe you can use the middle mouse click for that. But if we press the D-pad left or right, it does scroll the page, and so does the right joystick. So while it does play quite smoothly actually, I would say this is pretty much flawless. It is a little bit hard to navigate. You do have to rely on the auto camera, which isn't terrible. I would class RuneScape Classic as a win. There is one more thing I want to try, and that's to see if we unplug our wireless adapter so we're no longer online, can we still load into Firefox and navigate to local web pages? Or I guess our local web server. We'll quit out. I will still leave my wireless adapter connected for now. We'll press start, go down to options, and enable remote services. So it says it's also listening on port 80, which means we are running a local web server. It is the default one that comes with ArkOS and dArkOS-RE that lets you copy ROMs over using a browser. So now that's enabled, I'll unplug my USB-C hub completely. So that has my mouse, keyboard, and wireless adapter. We are completely offline. If I go to network info, unfortunately it has frozen. It did not like me unplugging my USB-C hub while it was on. We'll reset the device once more and try again. It's finished rebooting, and I have just connected my standard USB-C OTG adapter with my wireless adapter. It should auto reconnect, so we'll go back to options and enable remote services. Perfect, it's listening again, which means our web server is running. I will just mention you cannot enable remote services without an active internet connection. It'll just say there's no network and then close back out. So now we're connected. I'll remove my wireless adapter once more. Has it locked up the system? It hasn't. Let's go back into Firefox and see if it still works. So it's still loaded. It didn't throw an error yet. It does say we're offline, but that's okay. Let's see if we can navigate to our local host. So press L1 and we want to go 127.0.0.1. If we press enter, it should hopefully load our ArkOS web browser or file browser, and it has. We'll close off the little warning. We'll have to log in using ARK and ARK. So ARK and then ARK once more. Perfect. We won't save. Yeah, it does work. This could come in handy if you're developing a local web server on your R36S. Pretty cool stuff. Overall, while browsing the web on your R36S isn't perfect, mainly due to the low-powered RK3326 and minimal RAM, it's still pretty cool to have Firefox available directly from the emulation station frontend in ArkOS and dArkOS-RE without needing to have a full desktop environment installed. Also, as we saw in our Mega Man 2 benchmarks, it does not slow the system down at all, at least from what I have tested, and it only seemed to use up around an extra 700 meg on the Linux partition. Not too bad at all. I think I will install this on my main dArkOS-RE SD card, since I do think it could come in handy. As mentioned at the start of the video, some people have mentioned that after installing this, their R36S would no longer boot, and they did have to do a complete fresh install of their OS. It is unclear if they were still using their stock SD card or a fresh high quality SD card though. Still just something to keep in mind. But I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.